Well, hello everyone, and here we are once again for another instalment of Bad Dad by David Walliams. Now, if you remember last time, Frank is in the boot of Queenie. And if you remember, Queenie is Dad's souped up Mini with the Union Jack on the top. And this episode is called Boom. Roar! Frank was thrown around like a sack of potatoes in the boot as Queenie raced down the roads. Finally, the little car came to a halt. Somehow, Frank was still alive, though he had absolutely no idea where they were. All he did know was that his father was driving a getaway car. But what they were getting away from was a mystery. Frank put his ear next to the boot door and listened. First, the car door opened, clunk. Then there was the sound of footsteps. And soon after, there was an explosion. Boom! An alarm sounded. Then he heard Fingers shouting, "Come on, we have 5 minutes until the police arrive." Frank had to see what was going on. He forced open the boot just a tiny bit and peeked out. There was black smoke from the explosion, but as it cleared, Frank could make out a sign that read, "Bank." Now, the boy was only 11, well, nearly 12, but he had found himself in the middle of a real-life bank robbery. Suddenly, he was scared, not just for himself, but also for his dad. If the police caught his father, he'd be sent to prison for a very long time. Frank leaped out of the boot and crawled along the road beside the car. He popped his head up at the driver's window. "Ah!" cried his dad upon seeing his son. He wound down the window. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "What are you doing here?" Frank demanded. "I asked first." "I was worried. I climbed in the boot. I didn't want you to do anything stupid." "Well, what's more stupid than climbing into the boot of a car? Robbing a bank?" "We are not robbing a bank." "Well, what are you doing then?" "Fingers and thumbs are just checking their saving accounts by blowing the door off." "It's Saturday night." "They didn't realise that the bank was closed." Frank rolled his eyes. "Look, Dad, I may be a kid, but I'm not daft. I know exactly what you are doing. Now, you need to get us out of here fast." "I can't." "Why not?" "They are bad men, Frank. They are capable of bad things. They'll hurt me. They'll hurt you." "Then let's just drive and drive and drive and never stop. They'll find us." At that moment, Fingers and Thumbs ran out of the bank carrying a brown suitcase, which wasn't quite shut. It was trailing money. £50 notes were fluttering in the sky like butterflies. "Drive!" shouted Thumbs. On seeing this child standing by the car, Fingers shouted, "What the blazes is that kid doing here?" I don't know him," said Frank. "Hey, kid, scram!" Fingers looked at the boy. "He looks just like you." "Poor boy." "He's your son." Dad looked at Frank again. "Oh, yeah, so he is." "So what is he doing here then?" demanded Thumbs. "I thought it was a bring your kid to work day," replied Dad, clearly hoping a joke might soften them. Well, he was wrong, as the two goons gave the man a death scare. "Nino, Nino, Nino." There wasn't time to explain, as a police car came speeding down the road towards them. "It's the Fuzz!" yelled Fingers. "Come on!" Fingers and Thumbs dived into the Mini through the passenger side. "Mate, get in!" shouted Dad as he revved the engine. "How?" pleaded Frank. "Jump!" The police car sped closer and closer. "Nino, Nino!" Dad revved up his engine and roar! The two heavies in the back started shouting, "Leave the fool, nasty little runt!" "Mate, jump in!" begged Dad. With that, the boy leaped head first into the car. The engine roared and Queenie sped off down the street, with Frank's bottom sticking out of the window. Never stick your bottom out of a car window. If you have to stick your bottom out of a car window, for whatever reason, make sure you are wearing something warmer than pyjamas. And that is because there is a very real danger you will develop a condition called bottom freeze. This is where a person's bottom's temperature descends to danger levels. Bottoms can get so cold they actually turn blue. In very serious cases, frozen bottoms have been known to crack or even snap off. Bottom freeze can be brought on in a number of ways. Doing a number 2 in an igloo, sticking your bottom in a freezer, trying to melt a snowman using only the heat of your naked bottom, attempting to catch a polar bear in the Arctic using your bottom as a bait, or tobogganing on your bare bottom. You could accidentally sit on an icicle. That can be quite painful too, if the icicle is sharp. Cryogenically freezing your bottom so that it will live on for future generations. Mistaking an iceberg for a nice comfy sofa. Becoming trapped under an out-of-control Mr. Whippy machine. Frank's bottom was becoming dangerously cold as Queenie flew through the town with a police car hot behind them. Dad pulled his son into the car and the boy shuffled across his father's lap before crawling into the back seat next to Thumbs. The gorilla of a man stared at the small boy. "Good evening," said Frank, not sure what to say to the brute. "No, it isn't." Thumbs looked out through the back window. The one police car had become 3. They were gaining on them. "Nino, Nino!" "Throw the boy out!" ordered Thumbs. "He's slowing us down." In fairness, I think you might weigh a tiny bit more than me, said Frank. This was designed to lighten the mood. It backfired badly. "Are you calling me fat?" growled Thumbs. No, but you do way more. "Stop bickering in the back," ordered Fingers. "He started it," replied Thumbs. "He's picking on me for my size." "Shut up and hold tight," said Dad as they whizzed around the corner. They had now reached the outskirts of town. "Where on earth are you going?" demanded Fingers. "This isn't the way the governor meant to the governor's mansion." "I know. I thought we could take a little shortcut." Dad turned the steering wheel sharply and the car started going up some steep steps. Boom, 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 boom. "Where are you taking us?" shouted Fingers as his long fingers gripped onto his chair. "We're going to lose them," said Dad. Queenie crashed through a barrier, and suddenly they were on the pitch of a football ground. The 3 police cars were still in hot pursuit. "Nina, Nina." The Mini came to a halt in the dead centre of the pitch. The 3 police cars fanned out and stopped too. A voice came over a loudspeaker on top of one of the police cars. "This is Sergeant Scott." "He must want his trousers back," said Frank. "Give yourselves up. You have been surrounded." "Who fancies a game of football?" announced Dad. "Sounds good, Dad," replied Frank. Roar! Queenie sped off up the steps into the stand where the spectators sit. Bonk! 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 One of the police cars gave chase. Bonk! 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 "Shift over!" shouted Dad to Thumbs. The henchman did what he was told and slid over to Frank's side of the car. Then Dad turned the steering wheel sharply and put the Mini onto 2 wheels. It just fitted through the gangway between the rows of seats. Frank was squashed by having this man-mountain on top of him, but didn't feel this was the right moment to complain. The police car, giving chase behind, ploughed through the seats. "Nina, Nina, thwack, thwack, thwack." The seats flew up into the air and smashed into the windscreen of the police car. The driver could not have been able to see where he was going because the police car smashed straight into the giant TV screen. Crash! The police car dangled out of the screen like a film in 3D. "1 down, 2 to go," said Dad. He turned the steering wheel sharply and Queenie went up onto 2 wheels again and bumped down the stairs, bump, 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 and onto the pitch. The 2 remaining police cars were waiting on the far side. They surged forward towards the Mini at terrific speed, tearing up the grass. The Mini surged forward too. The cars were hurtling towards each other across the pitch. This was a dangerous game of chicken. But who would crumble first? "Ah!" screamed Fingers. He closed his eyes as the police cars headed straight for them. "Make it stop!" bawled Thumbs. Frank looked at the beast of a man who was close to tears. If someone didn't slam on the brakes, there would be a head-on collision. Dad held his nerve. He was the champion banger racer after all. Waiting until he could see the whites of the policeman's eyes, he yanked on the handbrake and spun the car round wildly on the spot. "No!" cried Fingers and Thumbs. The 2 police cars turned sharply, one turning too sharply, and ended up on its roof, skidding across the pitch. Dad expertly took the Mini out of its spin and nudged the upside-down police car into the back of the net. "Goal!" shouted Frank. Now there was just 1 police car left standing. Well, we'll have to wait until next time to see what happens next, won't we? That's getting exciting. Anyway, you take care of yourselves and I'll see you very, very, very soon. And thanks very much for listening. Take care. Bye-bye for now.